14 minutes to 8. I always love this time of the week when we delve into some ancient history. Well, not ancient, but it's pretty old history. We're going to take you back 150 years today with history out there. And Harold Peacock, good morning, mate.
Yes, good morning, Damo. I don't feel ancient, but yeah, 150 years old. That is pretty old.
It certainly is.
It's some good stories from the Darling Downs.
Now, of course, we're going to Warwick today for this historical story and a globally famous author.
Yes, that's right. The only good thing you could see in Warwick was a Chinese giant, but I'll tell you more about that in a moment. Now, his name was Anthony Trollope. Now, he was a famous and prolific English novelist of the Victorian era. His grandfather was the sixth son of Sir Thomas Trollope, 4th Baronet. His mother moved to America to open a commune in Tennessee, but after that venture failed, she opened a bazaar in Ohio, which also failed. So you can start to see the theme of what's happening here. His father's affairs also went from bad to worse. He gave up his legal practice and failed to make enough money from farming to pay the rent.
Right.
He and the family then fled to Belgium to avoid arrest for debt. Now, through all this financial failure, young Anthony Trollope still received the best education that the aristocracy could provide, including a private school at Sunbury and the exclusive Harrow School and Winchester College. However, with no money or friends at these elite schools, Trollope was bullied and endured a miserable childhood, really. He finished up well educated as a lawyer, but failed at the bar due to a bad temper. So he then had ventures into farming, which proved unprofitable, and his expectations of an inheritance were dashed when an elderly, childless uncle married and fathered children. So with nothing for it, Trollope got a job at the post office. There he acquired a reputation for unpunctuality and insubordination. And even a debt of £12 to a tailor fell into the hands of a loan shark, and it grew to more than £200.
Wow.
So life was a bit of a struggle for Trollope. He hated his job and lived in constant fear of dismissal, and I'm sure you and I know what that's like.
Yes.
However, he did decide to turn his hand to writing in his spare time. He wrote his earliest novels while actually working as a post office inspector in Ireland, and he occasionally dipped into the lost letterbox for ideas. Now, come the mid-1860s, Trollope created postal history and was credited with introducing the pillar box, or those big red mailboxes, to the world. So we owe that to Trollope.
Yeah.
And Trollope's novels also brought him some great enduring success, as did his travel books. And that's where we come across him here in Australia. You see, in 1871, Trollope made his first trip to Australia, and 2 years later published a travel guide called Australia and New Zealand.
Right.
Now, Trollope later returned to Australia to help his son close down another failed business and found himself highly resented throughout the country. Now, this was due entirely to disparaging remarks he wrote about Australia and Australians, and he didn't miss Warwick and the Darling Downs. Now, while in Brisbane, he was a guest of Queensland's first Chief Justice, Sir James Cockle, and was advised to come out to the Darling Downs about the second week of September to see the Downs in all its vast, glorious expanse. The beautiful things we used to today, waving grass, greener than the fields in England in May. That's what he was told. And so from Ipswich, he rode through Cunningham's Gap, which at the time he had to dismount and lead his horse over the gap itself. He then went to what he described as the little town of Warwick, which he was told was perfection of a town. He claimed he was unanimously advised by everyone how pretty Warwick would be. But what Trollope saw, and the impression he got, was a district in drought and a town that he thought was, quite simply, ugly. He described it as unfinished and monotonous, and even the mountains were too far away to give it any redeeming feature. And then there was that muddy, sluggish Condamine River. He was not impressed. Now, Trollope did, however, note that Warwick was clean. He believed it to be prosperous and found an excellent pub, the original Criterion Hotel, kept by Mr. David Bugden, whose mother, by the way, was the first settler's baby born in the district. Trollope no doubt would have been impressed by Bugden's female family members, who were there are a lot of them, and they had a penchant for wearing large feathered hats and boas, so they made quite a picture. Now, the biggest attraction that Trollope found in Warwick, however, was a Chinese giant. That was Zhang Shishay, or Chang the Chinese giant. He was over 8 feet tall and made his fortune by touring the world and making public appearances. He was well educated and with a good command of 10 languages, so he was quite an attraction. And while in Warwick in 1871, Chang charged 2 shillings a head to see him, and he did very well, thank you. Now, Trollope, however, was in no mood to see the giant. He preferred the Warwick pub, and continuing to write disparagingly about Darling Downs and much of the rest of Australia. So he didn't reflect well, but at least he did record there was a Chinese giant in Warwick, which is probably worth another story at some stage for you.
No doubt, mate. Now, of course, you're going to be posting this story up on your website.
Absolutely. You can find history out there on all the socials, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. But on my website, I post this story with some photos on Friday, and that's historyouthere.com.
And, of course, the other thing, too, is that you do is personal appearances, too, don't you?
Oh, that's right. Yes, I do make some talks at the historical societies. In fact, at the moment, I'm attending the annual general meeting of Drug Arm,
right.
A 176-year-old organisation that's been working to reduce the harms of alcohol and other drugs, and the AGM is on this morning, and there's a fair bit of the program out at Toowoomba and Warwick and so on as well. So Drug Arm's a part of history, but I also talk at historical societies and that type of thing. It's really good fun and meet some fantastic people.
Fantastic, mate. Look, historyouthere.com, that's where you need to take a look at it. We'll let you get back into the AGM, mate, and we'll look forward to catching up next week.
See you then.